The Knicks are 2 games away from the ECF, and the Celtics look as lost as ever. I really don't have any words. Hit that rock. Before we get started, make sure to hit the like, subscribe to the channel. Make sure to hit the dark notification bell to get each and every notification for each and every video I put out there. It's your boy, Gmo Legion Knicks. Let's get it. So the New York Knicks, in ridiculous fashion, and it's the first time in history. Now, I asked Tommy Beer this on Twitter. Go check him out on Twitter. I asked him this, so maybe that's why he fully put out the tweet. But I'm the one that asked him, so give me my freaking credit. But I did ask him, has there ever been a team in NBA history that's been down by 20 that won the game in the final possession of said game? And he said no. And the Knicks are achieving what many may deem is the impossible against a team like the Celtics, who mollywopped us 4 times in the regular season, absolutely had our number, and now they're looking like a shell-shocked team. A team that, after game 1, missing 45 threes, implied that they were going to be more physical in game 2, or at least attack the basket more. And they still went on to miss 30 threes in game 2. But a team that looks like a shell of themselves, especially from the key player, Jayson Tatum. And now everybody's talking about, oh, Jalen Brunson is the best player. We've been saying this. Jalen Brunson is that guy. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and say I was confident the Knicks beating the Celtics, especially on this fashion. Of course, there are 5 more possible games, so the Celtics can come back and still beat the Knicks in this series. But what I'm seeing by the Celtics team, being down that much, is almost as if they don't have another level to go to. And I thought they would. The three-point shooting, you have 2 guys in Brown and Tatum who could take 1v1. You got outside guys. You got 3-and-D guys. You got a competent point guard. You got KP. But all those factors seem to fade away. The Knicks have been making these ridiculous runs. In the fourth quarter, down 14, made a 21-3 run. The Boston Celtics missed 13 straight scoring possessions outside of the free throws. Look, man. You stole game 1. Dare I say you may even stole game 2. But there's a certain resiliency by this team. They're confident. When they're down by 20, for some reason, something clicks. Now, I'm not going to break down a video for this guy, but I want to give Josh Hart his propers. Again, Josh Hart has been carrying this Knicks team when all seems like all hope is lost and everything is done. It has been Josh Hart to finally take the 3 in the corner, hit the shot, get us within 18, get us within 15, lead the fast break opportunities, get us within 12. Josh Hart, the unsung hero, does not get enough acclaim and respect for his work in that third quarter. 4 for 5 from the field, 10 points, 2 for 3 from 3, 1 assist for a guy that we've been begging, shoot the freaking shot. They've been giving him space. You know what I'm saying? He's been taking his shots, being a little bit more confident. Just a key contribution from Josh Hart. The offensive rebounds, the hustling on the floor. Absolute maniac. Perfect fit for this team. But what the Knicks have been showing has been nothing but special. Now, there are a few guys I want to highlight in this video. I want to talk about Jayson Tatum and his hesitation, or everyone will call it hesitancy. I don't know what the right word would be. I want to talk about Mikal Bridges' fourth quarter scoring, which could open up new avenues for the Knicks going forward. Entrusting Mikal Bridges, a guy who, again, another guy who feeds off of confidence, has to work that way. I want to talk about those 13 missed possessions by the Boston Celtics as well as some other things here and there. So let's get to it. So the first thing I want to highlight was Jayson Tatum, man. Jayson Tatum is in his own head. This guy does not look the same from even game 1, right? We're talking about a guy in the last game versus the Knicks, game 2. Your man put up a paltry 13 points for 5 for 19 shooting. That's 26.3% from the field, 1 for 5 from 3. He did have 14 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, 1 block. He had 3 turnovers. But another thing that I saw was that he tried to make concerted effort to facilitate and move the ball around and all this other stuff. But even from the start of the game, you could just tell, man, it's not the same, right? It's not as if he was trying to get into post-up position, really try to drive off the dribble or attack off the dribble and either kick out. And the thing that I actually saw with Jayson Tatum, when you look at his regular season stats, right? This is a guy who averaged during the regular season 10.3 drives a game, shooting 56% from the field, around 73% of those possessions end up in points. But then you look at also the passes, right? A pass percentage of around 32.3%. He's also averaged one assist off those drives. Now, in game one versus the Knicks, he only averaged around, or had around 7 drives in that game, shot around 25% from the field. 42.9% of those drives resulted in points. And then he, in terms of passes, resulted in around 28.6% of those drives ending in resulting in a pass. And he had no assist off those drives. It got even worse in game two. Game two, your man, he did have 16 drives in game two, but still only shot 27.3% from the field, which was slightly better in game one. Around 50% of those drives end up in points, but he had a pass percentage of around 12.5%, or 12.5% of those drives ended in passes, and he had no assists, 2 turnovers. That's just to give you some context of like how bad Jayson Tatum has looked, like shell-shocked. And it's not even that. The guy is scared to pull the trigger on his shots. Like, you have a guy who's in his head. We could talk about the fourth quarter where he went, 1 for 5 in the fourth quarter. The only time he really scored was the one where he got fouled. I believe it was by Brunson with he reached over to try to get the ball. He had that one wide open shot in the corner trying to do the whole Jayson Tatum tuck your elbow in and missed the shot. Your man looks lost. But I want to highlight this play because this is a guy that during the regular season, I mean, off the dribble, especially against the Knicks, Jayson Tatum has never shied away from being aggressive whenever he had a little bit of space to shoot that shot. And for Tatum here, I mean, look, the guy off the screens, I think he shot around the regular season 52.2% effective field goal percentage, around 41% off of screens. For the playoffs, he actually isn't shooting that far away. Still not great, 39.4% from the field in the playoffs so far, 54.5% effective field goal percentage. But again, off the percentile, just scoring wise, he ranks in the 40 percentile so far in the playoffs, first 2 games. But in the regular season, he ranked in the 74th percentile, just in overall action scoring off of screens. And you can just see it here with Jayson Tatum. You tell me a time in history, especially when we've played this guy. You remember the game where I think it was the second game, I want to say, maybe the second or third game. I want to say maybe the second game we had against the Celtics in the regular season where Jayson Tatum, we were down by 3 or tied it. Macabre, I can remember it's like it was yesterday, even though I can't remember exactly which game it was. Macabre just hit a 3 to get us within 3 or tied a game up. And Jayson Tatum, mind you, I think Jaylen Brown was out. Somebody was out. And your man Jayson Tatum came down and literally led a 19-3 run for the Celtics. Could not miss to save his life, right? When have you ever seen Jayson Tatum? Good old baby hair, genuine wannabe ass Jayson Tatum coming off the double screen. Look at the amount of space. Now, Cat does a terrible job here. OG's trying to fight over the screens. Look here, Cat, you idiot. If freaking your man OG's going over the double screens, right? Brunson is hedging. Even though at this point I would say Brunson should switch. And let me give credit to Brunson. Brunson's actually been playing some decent defense for, his size limitations and whatnot. He's been playing decent enough defense. Don't look at the numbers and don't let that fool you. But your man Cat is supposed to step up here to at least hedge it, to be like, all right, can OG get over it? Nah, I'll make the switch. Brunson, you stay on Drew Holiday. OG, just get to the nearest guy in Al Horford. But here you see your man Jayson Tatum coming over the screen, wide open. Everybody knows a Brunson hedge. Brunson does this, this like minimalistic kind of hedge where it's like, all right, I'm just doing this to just save some time for my man to get back. I'm really not gonna. And now if he switches, but Brunson's hedges are kind of, you know what you're gonna get from it. So Jayson Tatum knows what's happening, right? Jayson Tatum is wide open. There's nobody between from here. There's no one here. You got all of freaking Kazakhstan chilling right here, son. The whole Ottoman Empire is just chilling out right here, bro. And your man Jayson Tatum does what? Passes it to a more guarded Jaylen Brown, who had Josh Hart to close out on him. And Brown misses the shot. When you talk about a guy being in his own head, this is a clear cut. Now, this is the beginning of the game, but you go back to all this game and you look at the drive stats I pointed out. Jayson Tatum was not looking to score. That quarter with Indian when the Knicks made that 21-3 run or 21-2 run, whatever the hell it was, and they missed 13 straight possessions. Jayson Tatum wasn't the majority of those shots. Not saying that he should sit up there and chuck, but he was not really involved in those plays on offense. This is uncharacteristic of Jayson. This is not Jayson Tatum. This is another clone. That guy, the old Jayson Tatum, he's jacking that shot from right there. You that open? That Jayson Tatum is shooting that shot. I try to make it a big circle. I'm just doodle all over the freaking screen because this thing is not working correctly. But this Jayson Tatum, this clone, this guy that Hugh Jackman created in his basement, if you've ever seen it, I think it was The Majestic was a movie. Your man kicks it out to Jaylen Brown for this bum-ass shot, and they miss. That set the tone early in this game that Jayson Tatum was... What they shot in Game 1 was affecting him. And now what they shot in Game 2, hopefully that affects him in Game 3. But that's going to be up to the Knicks. That's going to be up to the Garden to try to replicate that. So let's go to the next piece of film. Now let's highlight my son, my done life, Mikal Bridges. We're going to get to the final play of the game where he came through in the Cobra clutch. My done life finally eaten. But here Mikal Bridges in the fourth quarter in a pivotal game, pivotal comeback, pivotal period for the comeback where the Knicks made that run. I think it was a little bit before the run, but just in that fourth quarter, your man Mikal Bridges went 6 for 10 in that fourth quarter. He also hit 2 threes, 2 for 6 from outside, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, with only one assist, 1 turnover. But what I saw from Mikal Bridges is that the New York Knicks trusted him to play on the ball. Something that you didn't really see from Mikal Bridges in fourth quarters. But having that confidence for him to attack off the dribble. Now, I wanted him to do that from the regular season. I want Tom Thibodeau to allow him to be the secondary playmaker off the dribble, setting a whole bunch of screens, a whole lot of actions, create the space for him so he can use that shot off the dribble, use that mid-range shot that he's so well at doing, and take a lot of pressure from him to be within the rhythm of the offense without force him to be this, you got to make the catch and shoots, whether you're cold, whether you touch the ball. Let him have some flow, some touch in the rhythm of the game. So anyway, what I liked here in the fourth quarter was how they utilized Mikal Bridges. And this is a play that Tom Thibodeau has run, I don't know how many times. It's a staple in the offense. Now, the funny thing is that Boston Celtics run the same thing. It's called horns, right? The Knicks run horns. Boston Celtics call it the 11s, right? But they play a little bit more up. They play the 2 screeners. So basically in 11s or horns, you have 2 screeners at the pinch positions. You have 2 guys, your 2 shooters in the corner, and then you have a point guard who's bringing the ball. He could go either way. And the thing about the horns is like it's a staple in a lot of teams' offenses, but it's so malleable in a sense of how well you could change it and arrange it, right? Before that, you can actually run a motion strong. Everybody loves Greg Popovich. Salute to Greg Popovich is now moving to the front office of the Spurs. But Greg Popovich would run, motion strong play, and then you could transition that into a play like horns, and then you could transition horns into pick and roll. Like there's so many things you could do with the horns pick and roll or horns, excuse me. But the thing is that people used to get in Tom Thibodeau and say, "Oh, the offense is this, offense is that," and I would watch. Guys in these sets, they couldn't execute, right? They couldn't set screens. They couldn't do the simple things. Julius Randle, R.J. Barrett. They couldn't do the simple things with these looks. The best player I'll probably say is probably Derrick Rose in terms of attacking off of horns. And then you have one pinch split out for the 3, one pinch kind of roll with on the screen that they've created for Derrick Rose. One thing I saw in the second year that Tom Thibodeau's here, and people might kill me for this, Taj Gibson, when he was here, and go back to the preseason. I know people are not going to do it, but go back to the preseason. I say this all the time. Taj Gibson, the reason why Tom Thibodeau had him in there was because he was able to screen in that horn set, in that horns look. And then he could flip it and now screen he could move around properly. We don't have those guys to do it. And also, too, we were hoping to have the shoes in Fournier, it just didn't work out. But if you go back to the Wizards game back in the second season of Tom Thibodeau's tenure in the preseason, the gameplay against the Wizards, and watch the horns actions that we ran in that game against the Wizards, and you'd be like, wow, Tom Thibodeau can run the offense. I remember one where your man IQ literally came all the way around, curled into the corner out of the horns play, and they were able to kick it to him out for the 3. Like, we did so many things in that preseason, and obviously it didn't really pan out. But what I'm trying to say is that when you have guys who can execute in these sets, now the coach looks like a genius. Oh my gosh, you instill this, blah blah. If I have a triangle offense, I don't have shooters, and I don't have a center, then of course the triangle looks bad. So your looks, your offensive philosophies and schemes only look as good as the players and the talent that you have around it. But with this play with Mikal Bridges, just want to show this one. I love the look here for Mikal Bridges. Now here you have horns action. Miles McBride goes and scurries off to the corner. Luckily he has Jrue Holiday on him, probably the best point of attack defender on the floor at this moment. But here you got Mikal Bridges getting the post up right here, or not the post up, but he's getting the positioning. He's back to the basket against an inferior defender. In Payton Pritchard, inferior in terms of just relative to, say, Jrue Holiday or Jayson Tatum. And here, Mikal Bridges, now Mitchell Robinson sets the screen. What I love here is that Mikal Bridges is attacking while these two nincompoops in KP and Al Horford are trying to decide who gets on Josh Hart, who stays off of the screen. So here you got like a little moment where these two nincompoops get caught. Why is it freaking on Al Horford's backside? Pause. But actually, can I make it bigger? No. Pause. Yeah, I can't make it any bigger than that. But anyway, here you see Mikal Bridges attack off the screen by Payton Pritchard. On Payton Pritchard. I can't talk right now. Mikal Bridges attacking, got KP in front of him, decides to keep dribbling, catches Payton Pritchard on the hip, and again, getting to that pinch. I'm pretty sure. Now, granted, you got competent guys, and these guys went to Villanova. In terms of Brunson, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart when he wants to freaking take a mid-range jumper, but also OG Anunoby. And I really think that the Knicks' philosophy is to get to your spots. Look for your spots on the floor in the mid-range, right? If we're not the quickest, not the fastest, so you may not be able to get to the basket, but if you can shoot the mid-range shot, I'll take that versus a more well-guarded shot attempt at the rim. And this Knicks team has done such a great job in terms of getting to that pinch, maybe to shoot a shot. I also give credit to Randall. Randall, that was his little baby jump at that pinch, right? But, with these guys, Mikal Bridges, and it just seems like this is a staple of Tom Thibodeau, push off Payton Pritchard. KP's just like, yeah, come to this rim. Come to this rim. I'm going to block the living daylights out of you. And KP, again, is not 100%. So Mitchell Robinson reads the room, is like, I got Payton Pritchard on the hip, push off of him, get that little mid-range jumper, little baby J, and we're good. And again, your offensive schemes and sets are only as good as your players' talents and ability to execute are. So now that Tom Thibodeau has this, I hope by next season we see a lot more actions off of the horn sets that Tom Thibodeau's run for years. Maybe throwing some motion strong, right? You have little staggered screen plays that can now reset into a motion strong, and then you can run that type of play off the pick and roll or whatever you want. Maybe you get a backup point guard in these type of times, a Tyus Jones. And get those type of guys to come in and run it with the backup unit. So maybe, Josh doesn't have to run it or whatever. But either way, this is a beautiful set by Tom Thibodeau and the Knicks. And again, I'm just looking for more and more of the maturation of Mikal Bridges' game on the ball, for this postseason as well as for the seasons to come. Now, real quick, I want to just show a few more examples of my son cooking. And I know this might seem simple, but this might be a crazy development that we've seen with the Knicks. Now, look at who Mikal Bridges has on him. The one and only Jrue Holiday, who's doing a bang-bang job on Jalen Brunson in terms of guarding him straight up and be able to defend effectively against Jalen Brunson. When you look at the numbers so far in the playoffs, defensively, Jrue Holiday has held Jalen Brunson to shooting 31.3% from the field. Jalen Brunson is 5 for 16 from the floor, 2 for 7 from 3. And that's why, Brunson has been utilizing a lot of screens, especially in game 1, to get away from Jrue Holiday. He's still a good defender despite the hamstring injury. But in 2 games played, now I know it's not the biggest sample sizes. Mikal Bridges is 3 for 5 against your man, Jrue Holiday. Shooting 6% from the field. Obviously, if you can't do math, 3 for 5. And 1 for 3 from 3. And 1 assist as well, too. Brunson, on the other hand, despite playing about 3 times the amount of minutes against Jrue Holiday, only has 2 assists against Jrue Holiday, while Mikal has 1. They both have 1 turnover. So I'm just saying, what I think with Mikal Bridges, it's weird how you mix and match plays. Certain players play well on others, certain players they just don't on others. And the thing I see with Mikal Bridges here, I don't know if it's a lankiness. For whatever reason, Mikal Bridges plays like this 4D type of game when how can I put it? He plays on planes in terms of his shooting, right? That makes sense. Like Dirk Nowitzki would do it, right? Where you see the fadeaway jumper by Dirk Nowitzki, like leaning back. It's almost like he's laying in like a freaking reclinable chair when he's shooting a shot. Same with Mikal Bridges, who does a good job of pushing off and getting that space to shoot that shot. And for whatever reason, Jrue Holiday has not really been able to kind of stay with Mikal Bridges in terms of being able to guard that shot once he goes up. Look at him. Jrue Holiday's doing a good job chasing after him, shifting his feet. That in some circles in regular season that'd be called a foul, where you stop and you kind of impede his progress. But he, whatever, it's the playoffs. And Mikal Bridges here catches him, pushes off, gets that fadeaway jumper, gets a gratuitous bounce, bam. And then for another attack, for whatever reason, Mikal Bridges has been having some solid success, at least in game 2 against Jrue Holiday. Now here, Mitch Robinson sets a weak-ass screen. Jrue Holiday sniffs it right away and gets over the screen. Mitch Robinson's a terrible screen, Lord. You want to complain about not getting the ball, bro? Work on your fundamentals. Your screen game sucks. Your free throw shooting sucks. Your hands suck. Worry about all those things before you ever talk about wanting to get the ball, how you should be featured on offense. Anyway, back to the damn freaking film. As Mikal Bridges again catching, Jrue Holiday on hesitate, and then catch him again. Like, when have you seen this? Mikal Bridges able to split or get past Jrue Holiday, Luke bum-ass Cornette, as he should. Doesn't provide that help. Maybe that's why Jrue Holiday stopped thinking that Luke Cornette, he's leading Mikal into Luke Cornette's hands for the block. And Mikal Bridges, another good finish against Jrue Holiday. So the Knicks may have something here. Using Mikal Bridges against Jrue Holiday, you can use the screens, whatever it is. But for whatever reason, Mikal Bridges has been able to shoot over, be able to push off, not in a bad way, but push off and create space against Jrue Holiday, who's been doing such a great job against Brunson. And when Brunson comes back into the lineup, that's where you want to see Mikal Bridges continue to shine. Right now, the Celtics are going to have to gamble. Do I leave Brunson on... Do I leave Jrue Holiday on Brunson, or do I now leave him on Mikal Bridges? And who's going to guard Mikal Bridges? Do I waste? I'm going to say waste, but use Tatum on him? Do I use Jaylen Brown? Having the Celtics have to sit up there and shuffle and think, okay, how are we going to stop a guy who's now hot? We have a new problem on our hand, and we still have to account for Brunson. That's why these minutes, these points by Mikal Bridges were so important in that fourth quarter, because now it shows you a new avenue. Mind you, Brunson did come back in. Now, Mikal did miss like his last 3 shots, but I did want to show one shot where, again, even with Brunson being in there, if you could continue to feed Mikal Bridges and get him these shots, the Celtics really have no answer for our offense late in the fourth quarter. Now, I want to give some credit to Jalen Brunson and his defense. Now, this is during the time when the Celtics went on that terrible run of missing 13 straight offensive possessions. Knicks went on that 21-2 run or whatever it was. Jalen Brunson, now granted, Jaylen Brown beasted Josh Hart, treating him like a little kid, was just destroying him, mollywopping him, getting fouls, getting to the line, getting in ones. It was ugly. But Jalen Brunson, give it up for Tom Thibodeau adjusting to this. Now, Josh Hart was sticking on Derek White, said, hey, man, just play help tag defense. You know what I'm saying, man? You getting destroyed by freaking sextuplet head ass dude over here. And Jaylen Brown said, Jaylen Brown's forehead is crazy, son. What the hell is going on there? But shoot to Jaylen Brown, man, that's my guy. But your man Brunson, and this is with Jaylen Brown going right. Jaylen Brown going left. Did a good job in the first game. But here with Jalen Brunson. Now, defensively, Jalen Brunson, you want to hear his numbers against Jaylen Brown? Jalen Brunson is only given up in 2 games. Only getting matchup minutes, only 3 minutes, 42 seconds. Not a great sample size, around 9 points. But he is shooting 4 for 13 against Jalen Brunson, 30.8% from the field, and 1 for 6 from outside, 16.7%. Might be something. And the thing about it is that with Jalen, not to say he's stronger than Josh, but what Jalen is annoying. It's like a little gnat that you could just kill if you find it. But you gotta find it. And if you don't find it, you'll go crazy. The thing about a guy like Jalen Brunson, who's 6'1", I doubt it. Jaylen Brown, who I believe is 6'6", 6'6", maybe 6'7", 6'6", maybe 6'5", 6'5", 6'6". The thing that's annoying with Jalen Brunson is that I have to bring the ball from underneath. And Jalen Brunson, say what you want, he's not the strongest, but what he is at many times is fairly disciplined in his defense, right? Just look at how Jalen Brunson, look at the ugly old school keep your arms out like you're in middle school, right? But he's trying to keep balance. He's trying to bend his knees. The thing about it is that Jalen Brunson has to bring the ball up and almost shoot it above his head. What Jalen Brunson also has been doing so well is not biting off the shot, just staying there and just being like, look, I'll just be in your area. You still have to gather and try to shoot above me with this player underneath me, right? You still got to shoot with this player underneath you. It's not easy. I know I'm not trying to make this high science, but it's like, it's very annoying. Look at this. Jaylen Brown tries to go up, hitting Jalen Brunson in the face. If it was regular season or if it was LeBron James, he'll give it to LeBron James, right, with that elbow. But look at how tough Jalen Brunson is making that shot without even jumping. Jaylen Brown has to try to gather. Now, also, too, you hitting your elbow that you're trying to align correctly to shoot the shot. You hitting your elbow in Jalen Brunson's face doesn't make it easier for you. Now you have some type of contact that's messed up your shot. You got to try to recalibrate your shot once you go up. Bro, that's tough. That's tough. And Derek White's freaking egghead ass couldn't make the putback layup. But give it to Jalen Brunson, who did a good job against Jaylen Brown in that fourth quarter. Again, just keeping your ground, following him, trusting the defense behind you, and win. Great play by Jalen Brunson. Does not get enough credit for his defense, but your man's been playing out of his ass. Pause. Defensively, this series, I know he's been getting killed here and there, especially in regular season, but for what he has to do on offense, what we get on defense, bro, is I wouldn't say it's nothing short of a miracle, but hey, it's a major plus for us. Last but not least, want to show this Jayson Tatum, the final possession. Now, before this, there's about 24.5 seconds left on the clock. The Knicks allowed Jayson Tatum to just come down, shoot the shot. Now, people online were saying that they felt that Tom Thibodeau was trying to go Jayson Tatum to try to attack the right and just feel comfortable driving the right and then take that away from the next possession. I don't think it was that serious in that regard. I think Tom Thibodeau was like, look, we don't want this guy sitting up there dribbling for 24 seconds and then leaving us a half a second left on the clock. We'll let him get the quick shot here, because why would you send your man up all the way up to defend Jayson Tatum full court and he blows past everybody and gets the easy layup, right? It doesn't make sense. Now, put on Tom Thibodeau, him trusting his play. Look, man, say what you want about Tom Thibodeau. That is a ballsy play, but that shows the amount of confidence he's instilling in his play. He's like, look, let him score that shot. I know y'all gonna score. Down by one, I know you're gonna get the. I know you're gonna score. Brunson, I know you're gonna score. If they run that, you run that same ghost screen with McCall. They W this time. Unlike what the Pistons did. You give it to McCall. I know you guys are gonna score. That's major effing confidence by your coach, man. Who wouldn't want to play for that? All y'all Tibbs naysayers, who wouldn't want to play for a coach that says, yeah, we're gonna get it right back. Wait, coach, just 24.5 seconds left on the clock. Why don't we just guard him straight up? No. Let him score. Let us get it back, and then we put him in a more precarious situation with less time on the clock, and we play out defense. Man, yo. God bless Rock Marcy. God bless Tom Thibodeau, man. Y'all playing around with my coach, man. Y'all bugging out. To put that confidence in his plays like that, and what they do, Brunson comes down, hits 2 free throws after Drew Holiday fouls him. Stop playing with your life. Anyway, let's get to this play. Beautiful defensive play by the Knicks. Again, Mitchell Robinson left on the island. Got to give him a lot of credit. I've been getting on him because of the free throws. And they get a Knicks plus minus is something stupid when he's on the court, but it's like he just can't hit free throws, so he hurts us in that regard, right? But Mitchell Robinson here, got to give him a lot of credit. OG fighting over the screen. I'm pretty sure Al Horford is freaking pinching OG Anunoby's nipples or something like that to hold him back. Pause. But here, the Knicks do a good. Mitchell Robinson does a good job of staying in front of him, moving laterally, jumping all over the place. OG disengages from Al Horford, who looks like he was holding his arm. Gets in front of Tatum, stop him. And the thing I like about this play too is like, look, man, Mizzou's gonna trust his best player, but Tatum didn't want that shot. Tatum was looking for answers. He had nothing. That whole game. That's why he made the pass. But look at how many players swarm. He just drove into the bee's nest. McCall, this guy, this sicko, this maniac, this psychotic being, this extraterrestrial, just lurking. It's like National Geographic's. The prey doesn't realize he's on his flank, the blind flank. Your man Jayson Tatum tries to drive and gather, and they know what he wants to do. Shoot that little mid-range baby jumper, right? He's not going to take the threes. He hasn't been hitting the threes. He's in his head. He wasn't going to take that three at the top of the key. He's trying to look for something in the mid-range. And what do the Knicks do? Swarm on him. Killer bees. High philosophies. Socrates and Malcrates and high philosophies. I'm trying to do the damn freaking Triumph song for Wu-Tang. Suit to Wu-Tang, suit to Suspect the Death. Anyway, that was terrible. And look at this. The glory. The glory. Your man Jayson Tatum wasn't trying to pass it out to no freaking Drew Holiday. Your man got stuck and realized, holy shiza, I got OG on me now. I thought I was going to have a clean space. I thought Horford was going to set a better illegal screen. He didn't. He couldn't set the Gortat screen for me, even though Gortat screen's not illegal, but you know what I mean. These guys, Horford, these guys been setting illegal screens on Knicks all postseason, nothing be called. Anyway, Jayson Tatum tried to get that baby jumper. Last minute, he's like, damn, son. Yo, son, how did I get here? What is my life like? Why did I do this to myself? Macau out of nowhere. The extraterrestrial. The nocturnal nightmare. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Comes and gets the steal easily. Deflecting. Get it out of here. Time winding 2.3 seconds. They don't even try to foul. Jaylen Brown's like, nah, let me just go home and groom my beard. Throws it up in the air for Jalen Brunson. Game is done. Give it to Tom Thibodeau having confidence in his players. Give it to the Knicks on defensive execution, realizing the Celtics did not have a game plan or a plan C, plan D, plan E, or whatever after that 21-2 run, after they missed 13 straight possessions. They had nothing, and the Knicks pounced on that. Salute to the Knicks, man. Game 3 on Saturday. It's going to be very interesting to see how Mazzulla adjusts and what Tom Thibodeau does to continue to keep this team's head on a swivel, to make sure that these guys do not get hot. These guys do not start to feel themselves. Do not try to find another way to bring this back to Boston without the Knicks at least taking one in New York. But guys, let me know your comments. Let me know your thoughts. Did I miss anything in Game 2? Still improbable to me. I don't know how the hell we won that game. This Knicks team is showing something scary, bro. And it rhymes with Estiny. But I don't want to say it yet, man. It might be one of those teams. Festiny, Grestiny, Bestiny. I ain't going to say that word, man, but it starts with a D. It's your boy Gmo, Legion Knicks. Appreciate you. Peace, Lou. God bless. Catch you guys on the next one.